blank is the most lopsided trade of all time. Think about what happened today.
There are a lot. I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was traded from the Bucks to the LA Lakers, but there's a different climate back then. He could demand that, and the NBA wanted him, the biggest star, to be in a bigger market, so they kind of helped that out behind the scenes. But I'm going to turn to my roots in St. Louis. Brock for Brolio stands out. Lou Brock for Ernie Brolio. That was a steal.
And Cub fans, don't forget it.
The Cardinals, because Lou Brock stole all those bases and had 3,000 hits. But I look to what brought the only Super Bowl in Rams franchise history, the only one they won while in St. Louis, the deal in 1999 where Charlie Army sent a second and fifth round draft pick to the Indianapolis Colts for Marshall Faulk.
Wow.
Now, it worked out okay for the Colts. They ended up drafting Edgerrin James in that very draft, and he turned out to be a pretty good compliment to Peyton Manning. But Marshall Faulk, in my estimation, is the greatest running back of all time. Now, I'm biased, but no one could run, catch, and block like Marshall Faulk could in a complete package. And Kurt Warner was the trigger man, but the ignition, the catalyst of the greatest show on turf, it was Marshall Faulk, because you could not cover him. Put him in the backfield, he'll run for 100. Line him up as wide receiver, he'll catch 10 passes for 100 yards. He was the previous version of Le'Veon Bell or David Johnson, what we see today. So the fact that it only took a second and a fifth to put one of the best running backs in the history of the game in that backfield and make it the greatest offense we had seen in the NFL to that time, I'm going to call that the most lopsided trade in NFL history.
Yeah, it doesn't equal Marshall Faulk. So I don't care what you got with the second and fifth rounder. And a lot of coaches, a lot of people around the NFL said Marshall Faulk was the smartest football player they were ever around.
I don't ever doubt that for a second.
It's a good answer, but it's not the right answer. There's only one answer to this, and that's Babe Ruth being traded from the Boston Red Sox, where he helped them win championship after championship, to the New York Yankees for what? $100,000 and a loan for $300,000. So the Red Sox owner at that point was also dabbling in Broadway musicals. Harry Frizet could put on his beautiful world-stopping musical, Na Na Nanette, which is probably the exact same thing that some Boston Red Sox hardcore fan got the Boston Herald, and he was married to some poor sap named Nanette and said, No, Nanette, they traded Ruth! The hell is going on here? It literally sent the balance of power in Major League Baseball 180 degrees. From the Red Sox, who had the best pitcher and hitter in baseball, that's what Ruth was, to the Yankees, and then the Yankees went on their long run. It was really an incredible thing when you look back on it, for $100,000 and a loan to fund a Broadway musical. Still one of the most head-scratching things, but like you said about Jabbar, just a different era at that time.
Right. And it's so bizarre when you lay it out there.
Na Na Nanette.
A musical was the reason.
We threw this question and fill in the blank out to you guys, and here's what you said. David said Addison Russell for Jeff Samardzija.
Maybe one day. I don't know if we can look at it right now as the most lopsided.
Yeah, and that's kind of with Kyle Korver. It's hard to tell right now how this is all going to pan out. But Drew, George Hill for Kawhi Leonard.
Okay, that's closer.
That's closer. Way closer. That's at least in the top 1,000.
Right. I mean, he's already an NBA champion and NBA
top
Finals
player.
MVP.
Yeah, without a doubt. George Hill, not so much. Good Cisco thing.
You think about some other players that have been traded on draft day. Kobe Bryant.
For Vlade, an aging Vlade.
Are you kidding me? Dirk Nowitzki, drafted by the Milwaukee Bucks.
But in both Kobe and Dirk's case, at draft time, you just didn't know that they were going to be legendary. In some of these cases, Marshall Faulk was already great.
Yeah, he was
already a lot of the time, that's how these trades are. You just have to wait and see how they play out.
No, Nanette!
It's my favorite musical.
It's a good one.
It's a really
Act 2 is just spellbinding.
See, I like the opening scene.
No, you would.
I have no idea what Na Na Nanette is. And you could have told me it was...
He wouldn't.
Na Na Nancy.
Yeah, of course you would.
Sure, whatever.